song?
Yeah, I can't remember it.
What a catchy theme song. Guys, welcome back to Adult Shit, the podcast with the one and only Kate and Kelsey. This is a podcast where we fuck up so you don't have to, or do and tell us about it, and we will commiserate.
Yes.
Is that a word?
Commiserate. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a song. It's a song.
Is it?
Yeah.
What song is that, Kate?
It's something like commiserate. Oh, shit. Fucking. It's the one where it's like commiserate. Oh,
Wow,
fuck. Shit.
we are
Fuck.
off to a hot start.
Where are my punk fans at?
Let's get right to it. Kate, have you come yet?
No.
If you didn't listen to... If you didn't listen to last week's episode, we discovered that Kate has actually never orgasmed. And I feel like I need to take this time to apologize because I didn't really address it. I think it didn't sink in really until over the weekend how big of a fucking deal that really is. And I just want to apologize for really, I didn't realize that's what you meant. And just wanted to say, it's not a bad thing.
You fucking liar.
I came all weekend long, and every time I came, you popped right in my head, and I was just like, wow, I really want Kate to be able to have this and enjoy this.
That's beautiful.
Did you try?
I tried.
No, oh my God, I didn't mean like, did you even try? Like, did you try this weekend?
I tried a little bit, and I just, you know what? It's I got to figure out the placement. It's awkward. All the where I go and where my hands go and where my vibrator goes. My vibrator's clunky, and
I can't believe you have a vibrator but don't put it inside of you. Also, I should say the reason why we're laughing, A, because that's really funny. B, I don't know what the fuck I ate, but my stomach is singing Christmas carols right now. There is a 3-piece harmony happening in my stomach. I swear to God, if you hear a fart sound, I'm not farting. It's just my stomach coming to life.
I don't know how to put okay, Jesus Christ.
Oh boy. Don't use his name in the sake of you not being able to come.
It's just my vibrator's a weird shape. It
What
looks
shape is
like
it?
It's like if you hold it, you know what it looks.
Podcast, so you have to be vivid with your description.
Okay, it looks like a wrench. No.
What?
A lug nut screw thing. What are those things called? With the thing with the.
Oh, okay. Wait, but so it's dick shaped. Why? How is?
But it doesn't. The whole thing doesn't vibrate. It's a little suction cup at the top that goes.
Oh,
It's
so
strictly
you don't
for your
have
clit.
a vibrator. You have like
I have
a.
a clit stimulator.
Wow, we need to get you a vibrator.
Hey, if anyone wants to send me
Hey
a
guys, speaking of sponsors and advertising, dick stuff. Anyone want to put their dick stuff on there, and we will make sure Kate tries it because God damn it, my New Year's resolution is for Kate to come. Hashtag Kate's gonna come. She hasn't yet. We will change that hashtag to Kate came when it happens. We should also mention, holy shit, it's fucking Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. Happy freaking Thanksgiving.
Yo, bro, I'm thankful for you,
I'm
bro.
thankful for you, dude.
Thanks, dude.
I fucking love you, dude.
I fucking love you too. It has been 23 days that I have been Sobember. Sober for 23 days. And Kate, how many days have you been sober for, little buddy friend?
I've been sober since Wednesday.
So many people called it out on my Instagram stories where I Instagrammed Kate at a dinner we were at last week, and Kate literally goes, "I'm drunk," and then everyone started messaging me like, "Wow, I guess Sober November's over for Kate."
Here's the thing.
What happened? What happened, buddy? What happened?
I was going to do it with you because I wanted to save money, and then I had a lot of opportunities to drink for free. So I did that.
You drank because you have a lot of free alcohol, and what are you gonna do? Say no?
Right. Yeah. That's what that was. Also, today's topic is in fact mental health.
Yeah.
So
It's a doozy, by the way. Many trigger a warning.
oh my God, yeah. Maybe if you're triggered easily, this
Is not gonna be. A, this is not the podcast for you, and B, this is for sure not the episode.
If you're looking for a pick-me-up in terms of just comedy on this Thanksgiving morn, this is not it. However, if you're looking for people to be like, oh shit, I'm not the craziest person in the world, boom.
We're here for you.
We're here for you, baby.
What are you doing today on Thanksgiving?
I am at a friend's house having a Friendsgiving. That is what I'm doing right now. How about you?
I am in Missouri.
Wait, you're going to Missouri?
Yeah, or Misery as they call it.
Oh, yeah.
My whole family's there. And this is the part where I carefully try to say that my family isn't fucking garbage and that they're good people and that family is important and not everyone is a bad person. And honestly, if I was gonna drink, today would be the day that I'm drunk.
That was your pass, right?
That was I did give myself one pass, but I think I'm gonna actually try not to drink.
Okay.
Here's the thing, is people on the internet wanna call me an alcoholic, but this has been the easiest 23 days of my life. I've had no problem turning down alcohol. I've had no problem going to places. I haven't had sober sex yet, but I have hooked up quite a few times.
Yeah.
There's still a couple days left, so we'll see what fucking happens.
I think I'm going to, and I make no guarantees, but I think I'm going to lay off drinking for a little bit, only because she's laughing at me. Fuck you.
Dude, I fucking love you, and I would never, excuse me, I would never shit on your tries to
It's just
better
fucking with
yourself.
my medicine.
I've heard you say this 6 times this month.
Yeah, it's every time I wake up hungover. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it. This is it. But I'm sober and I'm not hungover right now.
Fair. But you always, anyways, I'm glad that you're thinking about your medication because you really shouldn't, the first time you're taking mood stabilizers, you really should give them a chance to stabilize your mood.
Yeah, until I figure out. So my whole thing is I'm not going to stop drinking forever, I don't believe. But I do want to figure out how to, like, onto the topic of mental health, I do want to figure out how to say the things I want to say in my sober life so that they don't come flying out in my drunk life.
You know what they say? A sober man's words. Nope. Fuck that up. A drunk man's words are a sober man's thoughts.
That's just normal. It's just sort of like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to tell you what I really think. But not always. Sometimes I just say bullshit.
How is therapy going?
Fine. I think I get I get really tied to the fact where I'm like, oh, I think that, like, I want perfection. If I have any sort of, like, slip up or anything like that, like, I'm a bad person.
You do a lot of self-blame.
Oh, my God.
Self-hate.
It's constant.
Yeah. I don't want to tell you what's wrong with you. But as your friend, I see this pattern in you, and we're all guilty of it, but no pun intended. When anything ever happens bad, you go to yourself first.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of go, like, how did I fuck this up? Where did I go wrong? Rather than being like, oh, wow, I should look at the situation as a whole. And I don't know. I wish you were nicer to yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's really hard when you have a friend with mental health issues, and I mean, both of us have mental illness.
I think everyone.
Yeah, everyone to a degree has, you know,
Something.
it's like I see a lot of things, I project a lot of things onto you, and I also see a lot of the things that I went through, like when I first started on medication and first started going to therapy that you're going through, and so my initial reaction is to, like, help, and my version of helping is by, like, telling and teaching. I don't do a lot of, like, sitting back and listening because I do feel like, as someone who's been in and out of the healthcare system for mental illness for the last 10 plus years, the ultimate underlying message is I want to tell you how much better it does get.
Yeah.
And how fucking much I hate it when people say that because you just want to shake them and smack them and go, like, bitch, you have no idea what I'm going through. But, like, my way of helping out is to always just, like, share my experience with you, and I don't think that that's always, like, the healthiest thing to do. And two, like, you're going through different stuff. Like, you're a different age than when I was going through it. Different circumstances, different life things.
I mean, it does help. It's also nice to have something be free of judgment. I think that's kind of been a harder thing in getting better, or, like, trying to get better, is that I've sort of created this personality for myself. Started at a very young age, which was, if there's any tension or any sort of unease in the room or in a situation, I'll take it all on to make everyone feel better and be like, but you might be upset, but look at me, I'm a stupid idiot, you know?
Yeah.
And then it makes other people feel better. It makes people laugh. And then I'll go home and go to my room and just be alone.
Yeah.
And then just like really retreat. It's
Yeah.
just sacrifice and then retreat. And it worked as like a survival tactic when I was like younger. And I'm realizing that when I retreat, I don't retreat home to I retreat home alone.
Yeah.
I retreat like fully away from everyone. So I think that's what's been kind of hard, is that all of these things that protected me are now the things that are keeping me alone. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like there definitely is comfort in being alone when sometimes when you're going, like sometimes you do need to get away from everyone and all the triggers that are happening on fucking Twitter and in the news and the media and to your friends even. Like I know sometimes if the group chat is going off about something and it gives me anxiety, I'll just like step away for a little bit. There's a difference between struggling and then going home and feeling like you are fundamentally broken and fucked up and that this is not a thing that you can talk to your friend. It's not just like, oh, I had a fight with, you know, my friend or my lover, or work is going
my lover.
I feel like that's the only word I can use. I don't like to say gender or whatever.
I had a fight with my lover.
My lover and I, scorn lover. It's really hard to go home and be like, wow, trigger warning, but like, I don't want to be alive right now. And I know those feelings. Like I never fully attempted with an intent of killing myself, but I definitely would have ideologies of just wanting to not be here right now and not feel the anxiety or the depression.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would sleep for like 16 hours a day. And then the time that I was awake, I was drinking and then going back to sleep. And I lost like an ass load of weight. I was on a million different pills. I mean, I've talked about this a lot on BuzzFeed and I've done a couple videos about it if you really want to go like in depth of the amounts of medication, but over the last 10 years, I've probably been on 30 different medications and seen fucking, I don't even know, like 10 different therapists and tried a million different things. And it really was only the past year, I would say, that I've fully feel like I'm out of the worst of it and I can never see myself going back. Like I have armored myself with tools and techniques over the past 10 years that I don't ever see myself dropping back down to like the lowest of my lows. And man, now I see why people say your fucking 20s are like your hardest, your most selfish. Man, you could not pay me to redo year 21 through fucking 24, I think.
Damn.
Like not $1 billion would make me go redo that. It's a lot of those bullshit classic things like meditating and breathing exercises and doing the work and going to therapy. But like, I can see sometimes the thick of it that you're going through. And part of me wants to just like drive to your apartment and go pick you up and be like, let me get you out of the house. But I know that you need to go through like figuring out what works for you because what works for me isn't going to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I got very used to taking everyone else, like I said before, taking everyone else's stuff and putting it on me. And when I take all of the blame and I don't really say what I'm actually feeling because I never put my needs first, like I harbor that and it festers and stuff. And then I start to believe that I am this like terrible person who does these terrible things and whatnot. And then because of that, this is how it sort of ties into my eating disorder. It's like the only thing I can control. Like you could only ask for the things that you want if you look a certain way. And your needs only matter if you look this certain way.
Interesting. What do you mean by like look a certain way?
Like thinner and...
So like you don't deserve help because you don't think you're thin?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it feels. Like, okay, so I don't know
Fuck, that is like a voice that I've never gone through. I mean, I definitely have a weird relationship with food and self,
Most
but like
women do.
Yeah, but what you're saying is something that I've never thought.
Yeah, it's a terrible pattern to be in, and it's really hard to like, okay, for example, I talked about someone a couple podcasts ago. I felt bad for not giving him a heads up that he was going to be mentioned on the podcast. A little bird told me that maybe he had heard it and maybe he was mad, and then
So they do listen to this podcast.
But he didn't.
Oh.
So when I called him and I was like, hey man, did you listen? He was like, no. And I was like, oh fuck, now I have to
So
tell
now
you.
you have to explain
So
it.
then I kind of had to tell this person that I like had a crush on them and stuff, which like sucked. It wasn't mean, it was super nice. It was very like caring and thoughtful and whatever, but it was just not what I wanted to hear back. And so immediately upon like hanging up the phone and getting home, I was just like, it's because I'm disgusting. It's because if you like me as a person, then the only reason you wouldn't want to date me is because of how I look. And then because of that, I drank a whole lot the next night. And then my eating's been kind of like out of whack. I've binge eating disorder, which is like, I like to joke about it because it makes me feel better saying it's like the lamest eating disorder, which isn't fair or healthy or whatever, but it's just when I feel like out of control. Sometimes this like disorder is so powerful that it'll put you in a place where into situations with certain people even that feed off of that.
No pun intended.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, that's funny. It's a nice thing to have someone who's just like, yeah, let me put everything else aside, and then that's become my personality.
Yeah.
People who have had something similar, have had mental health issues that are within the same vein, that are able to recognize it in me and not see it as, oh, that's my personality.
But you also don't want it to become something where it's your only identity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to be able to start like asking for things when I need it and just be like, I'm uncomfortable with this, or I don't like this or that, identifying my own needs and whatnot. And I think that truly does tie into coming. Believe it or
Absolutely.
not.
No, it totally does.
Because I don't think which is crazy.
But you don't think you deserve to
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't even, if I'm at a restaurant, this is how fucked up this eating, if I'm at a restaurant and remember when we were out with your mom? Her mom took us out, her mom's
amazing.
Amazing.
You guys will meet her over the holiday podcast.
Yeah.
I'll have her on.
So she took us out and I was like, I said one thing, I was like, oh, that looks good. I think I'm gonna get this other thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, what?
She was like, get at one of
She was like so mad, like she was like,
Yeah.
get it, treat yourself or whatever. And I know my mom would do the same thing. It's just that in my head, it's this terrible disorder that's just like, that's what you want, but you're not gonna have it. Settle for something that you don't want because you can't deserve it. If you eat that, you will gain 500 pounds. And that to me has always been synonymous with being unlovable. So I keep eating and keep taking all this stuff on and keep these habits because that's the voice that's in my head.
Tying that back to you talking about talking to this guy and having to like confess that you had a crush on him. I said something once in the video. If you guys want to check out, just so you can get my background, I did a video called My Pill Journey. You can Google it on YouTube. Google it on YouTube? Sure. And you can watch it just to see all the fucking shit that I am talking about. But there's a line that I love, not patting myself on the back, but maybe. But the threat of unpredictability is the scariest thing that can happen when something depressing happens to someone with depression.
Yeah.
So like the idea that you had to fucking confess your feelings to someone, B, not knowing how they actually felt, and then C, getting like sort of a rejection-y.
That wasn't rejection.
It was like a rejection-y response.
It wasn't a flat out, I don't like you. But
Right.
But I think he's a nice person who wouldn't say it flat out like that.
Having something already waking up is really hard. Like you have to take the little wins. Like, yay, I woke up today. Yay, I only hit my snooze button 4 times. Yay, I got it onto work on time. Like that's already, it's really hard just like living. And then when something really sad happens or something really fucked up happens, that is when it gets scary. And then to feel like you don't deserve help or don't deserve someone to lean on or can only talk about it with your therapist. That's the other thing is I think, I know at least for me, there were times where I would hold things in all fucking week because I'm like, well, I'll get it out at therapy. And I didn't have healthy coping mechanisms. I mean, I drank a lot and I would have a lot of sex or I would, use my Ativan or I would abuse my Ativan to a point where I would just numb myself until I could go to therapy. And then sometimes with therapy, it takes a while to like get into it. I would feel guilty. I wouldn't want to make my therapist feel bad. I would sit down and be like,
oh, I know.
How was your weekend? And he would be like, so good, how was yours? And I'm like, okay, we're not talking about you. Okay, let me see how I can dance around the thing. And then once it's like I opened my mouth, it was like letting the fucking floodgates out. And therapy became this place where like that was the only place I would cry. And sometimes I would sit there and cry for an hour straight, not saying anything. And I would apologize the entire time, being like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, this isn't a bad thing. You need to be, so what if you cry? That's what he would always say, is he would be like, so what if you want attention? So what if you want help? Why wouldn't you want help? Why wouldn't someone who is struggling and clearly scared, frankly, I was scared all the time because I outwardly present as this really happy, outgoing person who, gets shit done and runs the world. And I have to put that front on because if I truly let out the anxieties and fears that I had, I genuinely don't think I would be here. I was not someone who was comfortable being vulnerable. And
there it is.
Yeah, it really is. It's a really scary thing because then you tie that into like making new friends or working on a new project or dating someone new where you don't feel comfortable being like, hey, by the way, I'm wildly fucked up underneath. And I would talk to my therapist a lot about that, where I always just felt broken and I felt fucked up and I felt like something was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And now I know, 10 years of being in therapy, like how 99% of the rest of the world feels that way.
This is fucked up, okay? I know this is fucked up. I used to say, like, I wish I had, like, a cooler vice, like a cooler disorder. Like
what?
Anything to be thin, anything to be thin. So it was like if I had a drinking problem or a drug problem, or if I was like fully restrictive, which takes away any of like the mental turmoil that people go through when they have those addictions.
Yeah.
It's just the grass is greener, and it's crazy how it influences every part of my life.
Everyone everywhere has fucking problems. And also, I would never wish this upon my worst enemy. The feeling of like waking up and the first thought is like something you can't control, and deep down you're like, I know I'm a happy person. I know I want to be alive, but there's some force, some cloud. They use that metaphor a lot as like having a cloud follow you around, but it really is. It's like you're desperately trying to get into the sun, and no matter where you move, this fucking cloud follows you, and not knowing how to get rid of that and accepting. I mean, here goes me into all of my workbooks that I use to get better. But I mean, again, I'm only sharing my experience for what has worked for me.
We're not giving, I think this needs to be pretty important.
That needs to be said.
We are not giving you advice on how to deal with what you're dealing with.
Not
if you're
doctors.
dealing with something, go to a doctor.
Go get help.
All we're doing is sharing our experience and letting you know that you're not alone. There is help out there. Most people are dealing with something in this.
All people are dealing with something.
Yeah, just about all people
in their lives.
So just know that you're not alone. And if you need help,
there is
please,
help with it.
please seek it.
We should definitely say that.
Okay.
But what has worked for me recently, I mean, I have been to every type of therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, hypnotherapist. The thing that has been working a lot for me is accepting these feelings and accepting that you are not your thoughts. Oof. So after being like misdiagnosed with bipolar and mood disorder, I still haven't really settled on exactly what I have. And also having someone tell me what I had really fucked me up, because then I carried this as a full identity. And that's also why I don't like love AA, is because when I used to go to AA, they would make you feel like you are either an alcoholic or you are nothing. It just became too much all-encompassing of my identity. So I didn't, go to the program if it fucking helps you. Work it if it works, if we work it, or whatever the fucking saying is. Point being, I didn't like the idea of all these therapists and doctors telling me what I had. And sure, maybe that will give you some peace of mind, but having them tell me what I was and then it not being fixed fucked me up more, because I didn't know how to fix it. And I'm like, I'm trying everything you guys are telling me to do. I'm doing the therapy, I'm doing the fucking meds, I'm fucking eating better, I'm exercising, and nothing is goddamn working. So something that has really helped me is accepting that, you know what, I might not know exactly what is wrong with my brain. And you know what, I'm gonna call it what is right with my brain, because I think it has helped me shape me to be who I am. It helps me as a creative, and I've accepted that this is what I am, right? And accepting my thoughts and accepting my anxieties and not labeling them and just letting my thoughts pass through and knowing that like my depression is always gonna be there. There will always be a depressing thing happening in the world, or to me or to someone I love, and I get to choose if I'm gonna let that take over me. And sure, some days, there are days where it's just too strong and I have to accept it, but not letting that fucking consume me and not letting that be all that I am about. I am so much more than anxiety and depression. I am so much more full, and there are so many other great things about me that are really fucking hard to see when it's the hard days.
There's a couple. I'm just kidding.
It's true. Like, I am shitty in many ways.
No,
Don't worry. I'm fine. Like I said, I feel fine for the first time in many years. I can handle it now. But maybe like 2 years ago, I probably would have been really fucked up about that. Anyways, my point being is that what has helped me is realizing that like in this world of Tumblr, Twitter, emotional vulnerability, and how it can be a really good shared experience and can be really helpful in finding your community, it also doesn't have to be all that you are.
Great point.
And how to escape that does not come easily. It takes many, 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 many years of, I think also your fucking hormones need to balance yourself out. Your brain isn't fully developed in the parent mode, so we actually don't know how to parent ourselves fully until we're 30. Like our brains just aren't developed.
Every time you're like feeling really upset, like, or whenever I'm feeling upset or feeling like, no, you're not good enough, or this is, whatever, I have to recognize that it's not my voice, because it's not the voice that I would tell other people. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be like, you're too stupid or whatever if it was someone that I loved. So treat yourself like someone you love.
Like a best friend.
Yeah, and that's hard because it's not there.
Yeah, again, trigger warning, but I have really dissociative anxiety, so it's actually a feeling of like things not feeling real and feeling unreal, I think is the word they use, where like there was a point where in my anxiety I would like look down at my hands and my hands felt like I was looking at someone else's hands. There would be times where I was driving and it felt like my body was like outside of my own body, and it was, I thought I was going fucking crazy.
That must have been really scary.
It was so, and I didn't want to say anything to anyone because I was like,
it happen?
It would happen on and off. Like, the feeling of being high when it was like being high without smoking any weed and it being really unexpected. So I would just be like driving down the highway and then all of a sudden I feel like I wasn't driving.
Jesus.
And it was terrifying because I thought that meant that I had like schizophrenia or fucking, I think that's probably where the bipolar diagnosis came from. But talking about like that voice in your head, that like alternative eating disorder self, I would have like a literal other self sometimes that felt like someone else was controlling what I was doing or controlling my thoughts. And it was so scary, but I realized that that wasn't schizophrenia or bipolar. It was a type of anxiety. It's a very real, common effect of panic disorder. And I lived with that. I was afraid to ever tell anyone that because it sounds fucking crazy.
It's also really easy. I think this is like really upsetting and just a very sad truth, though, when you do talk about something that is wrong with you, or let me rephrase that, my therapist would be upset. When you talk about something that you're struggling with and then you tell it to someone else, that's being vulnerable by letting it out there. And then sometimes the truth is that sometimes people will come back at you with sort of, they will dismiss what you're saying as like, oh, that's not you talking, or it's a very dismissive like back and forth. And so it's like you have to find the safe areas to let stuff out. So I could totally see why you would be scared to tell someone what you're going through, because then someone could just be like, oh, well, I don't want you on the road. You're not fit to drive. You're not fit, which is, whatever. It's a natural fear if you've never dealt with it. And you're not. So that's why that's why like help is so important, is because something that might seem to me something like, oh, that's scary, that's so out of my.
Well, like we can kind of get into a little bit of like dating with an eating disorder and dating with anxiety. I was in a relationship with someone who, it was a couple years, and if he's listening to this, he knows who he is, and I will always, appreciate you and love our relationship and am so grateful for the time we had. But I went through the worst of my anxiety and depression when I was with him, and it happened right when we were breaking up. And I never got to fully confide in him about how scared I was. And when I did, he had never had a panic attack. He had never had anxiety and depression.
People don't talk about it that much, especially then. I mean, people talk about it a lot more now. But then
it was part me. It was part me being ashamed to tell him, because I obviously wanted to project my best self. I didn't want to, we had been dating for like a year at this point, and to then all of a sudden have this like new side of me. And to be frank, I don't think that like he knew how to handle it. And
and that's part of your personality.
And
it's part of your personality. So when you say, hey, a big part of this has been a front, and I know we've been like having this relationship for some time, but I needed this to be a front because this is how I survive.
Exactly.
And this is how I get up in the morning. And I know that it could feel very like, oh, I was keeping this from you and being withholding, but really
and also like that I didn't fucking know what was happening to me. I was genuinely scared. I was fucked up. I was like, he just didn't know. And in turn, it looked bad. Like he would go to work and then I would sleep all day, and he didn't know what was happening, and he would be there for as much as he could, but it fucked me up in the sense that like I am terrified now to introduce like my mental illness to people that I am sexually or emotionally interested in. And it will a lot of times come off as like a joke, or I'll throw it out there as like, a little blip in conversation and see how they react to it. But it fucked me up because I thought like, wow, if this guy that I loved and who loved me and we were an adult and we were in an adult loving relationship couldn't handle it, who the fuck would want to? I would say this all the time in therapy. I wouldn't want to fucking date me when I'm going through like my worst of panic or my worst of depression. Like, why would anyone else love me?
Well, oh man.
Can you be loved when you're as fucked up as we are?
It's funny because the advice I'm about to give you is definitely, or like my take from it is 100% what I need to tell myself too. But it's you were technically adults, but you weren't an adult in your own. So you weren't an adult with this. You didn't know how to talk about this. You didn't have the vocabulary. You didn't have the tools. You have the tools now, and I think a lot of it comes from knowing who you are, what different parts there are to you, whether that means your disorder or whatever it is you're dealing with. And then a big thing is knowing like your worth and knowing your needs, and that's something that I'm like really struggling with now. But I think that once you know what you are worth and that you are worth someone else being a little patient with things and being like, hey, this is what I go through sometimes, and I have the tools. So here's the vocabulary. Here's how I need someone to love me, and I deserve to be loved like that. I feel like that's the best way to get into that relationship. But for me, I could tell you to do that all day and be like, yeah, Kelsey, I would like, because I think you're a fantastic person. Like I really would. I feel like you have so much to offer. I thought about that the other day. Kelsey let me borrow. One of the most generous people that I know. Yes, bitch.
Oh, I do love to give head too. That's a side note. I'm a giving person. What were you saying about a piano?
Oh my God.
That's my way of being like, I like you. Here's a great blowjob.
Please don't cut this out. You're gonna get a million more messages.
No. Great.
Kelsey's gonna come.
Hey, hashtag Kelsey already came.
She let me borrow her keyboard, and then when I brought it back, you started like playing all these songs. You could play stuff by ear,
Yeah.
You just have so much to offer. It's just so beautiful. Pal. No problem.
You're great too.
But you have these
you know how great you are.
There are.
I know how great you are.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anywho, this doesn't have to come into like a circle jerk. But like, all I'm saying is that you do have, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where like, oh, this restaurant's really good. I'll deal with the line. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
The
that
restaurant's
was a great
that good.
Metaphor.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Because I love food. Sorry if that was triggering.
No, man, I don't.
Oh man. I was
avoidance.
gonna say, don't you think it's funny? It's just fucking hilarious how I have my anxiety and depression under control for the first time. You are going through it. You're going through it for the first time. Yet we both are still so withholding of how we let other people see it. Like with dating, I can't imagine what that conversation must be like. Have you ever even had to have that conversation to introduce your eating disorder to someone?
So here's the thing. No.
Funny thing about that, no.
Simply because I've never had someone interested long enough to have that conversation. And one could argue that they haven't, like people that have been interested haven't stuck around long enough because I'm withholding and I immediately try to make it like a friendly sort of thing, and I like so pull back, like fully pull back, and I'm just sort of like, I project all of the things that I'm insecure about onto them, and I'm just like, they're stupid for this, that, or the other thing. So I get like way friendly, and like it's like a shell you can't fucking crack. And people will try and they'll ask me questions, and I just refuse to be vulnerable with them. Or what my like eating disorder self would say is that I'm just heinous and no one wants to get close to me.
Wow.
So I'm like disgusting and like repellent and all of this sort of stuff, and that's how I feel most of the time. So when I am not feeling good and I'm talking to someone who I might be interested in, the discussion I'm having in my head, I'm just like, they don't like you like that. They're being nice. Don't be vulnerable with them because you'll make them feel uncomfortable. They want someone who's like thin and hot, and you know they want this standard,
like what you think is a type that someone wants, versus like you just actually being a whole person and totally lovable and totally deserving.
Like, because I even think about, like, I won't even go out on dates with people sometimes. Like, if I'm on like a dating site or something, I won't go out on a date if I'm like, people will see us together and be like, wow, he's with her or she's with her.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's really, really hard, and it keeps me like super fucking alone.
God, but you know what, Kate? Like, I do that too.
Yeah.
I don't have an eating disorder, and I go, God, this person could have anyone in LA. They could have these cute little Instagram models and like they could literally choose anyone but me rather than going like, wow, I can totally see why they are with me. Because, and like, and
but then because of that, because you're like you're harboring all of those feelings, then when you actually are talking to said person or any person or whatever, those feelings come out in the way that they've come out your entire life, which is to be fully fucking guarded and just be like, no, these are the things that if you were to be like, no, you're too fat, I'm not going to be with you, that would break my fucking heart. So I won't even let you get that opportunity to make that judgment. Oh. But in my head, so that's like that's my survival. That's like this little fighter that I had for my whole life to keep me safe.
Yeah.
And now it's keeping me alone. And after like the phone call, I was just like, oh, you're so dumb to have even told him. You should have just lied so that he never would have known. But there was also a part of me, like this very small voice that's growing, which is great.
Yeah, this was like, huge for you. We were so fucking proud of you.
I also wasn't drunk when I said it.
We were like, see? And guess what? You're still kicking.
I know.
You're still alive. You went through the worst. Oh, man, I love this quote. It's like, you have been through the worst of your worst and are still alive. You know, like you have to congratulate yourself on the little things. We've gone deep.
Yes.
But I think it's necessary.
I think every so often we should have these little check-ins.
I think we should because it's Thanksgiving and this can dredge up a lot of
Oh yeah, fuck. Okay, well for anyone out there, Thanksgiving and holidays like that for someone with an eating disorder and any sort of like, you know, mental illness, going home to your family or whatever could really
trigger it.
Ooh, boy, baby, does it ever. So I remember I would go like on.
What was that?
I just came out
your stomach all of a sudden.
I don't want to fucking do this, but I remember like being at like parties or holiday gatherings or anything like that and just feeling like I was under a microscope with every bite that I took, and I would look at food and get sad and just be like, fuck.
What is eating disorder on Thanksgiving like?
Fucking hard.
Holy shit, what do you do? Truly.
Hard because then I do it and then that's when I'm like the loudest. Like I'm loud and I'm joking and stuff like that, and I just sort of like try to
all your deflectors come out.
Yeah, oh baby, I'm just one walking mirror. And so I would
then
eat
you'd be
stuff.
a reflector. Anyways.
Anywho, it's just uncomfortable all day. It's just an ongoing like feeling of anxiety, you know, because it's supposed to be like, it's fun.
It's the one day you're allowed to be.
Yeah, and you know, and then everyone at the end is just like, oh man, I'm really full. I'm like, oh man, again.
I hate myself again today.
Here it is
in
again.
A different form and with different people.
And now, and then afterwards, it's always after where I'm like, I will think about that meal for like the whole next few weeks, being like, you better get up and like run or do this or whatever. And I'm trying not to do that now. I'm trying to like stabilize my eating before I get super into fitness again, because I used to like overdo it with fitness.
And then if you don't do the fitness, that's another way that you get mad at yourself. Like, well, if I would have just gotten up today rather than sleeping in.
Yeah, it's just about fucking listening to yourself and taking care of yourself. But it's getting not easier yet, but it's getting doable. That's good.
A tip that I would share that, again, this is Kelsey Self-Help Book 101, but that and especially for Thanksgiving, because if I were struggling with just, you know, being out in a social setting or being around all that alcohol or whatever, or fucking family doing dumb shit, my normal defense would be to drink, and that would numb my anxiety and my insecurities, and I would be able to get through it no problem. But something that has been working for me that I would really like to share with people, and I know I've said this to you before, is anxiety is about thinking too much into the past or future. So like you're thinking about the mistakes you made or the arguments you lost or like yesterday's failures or that relationship 10 years ago. Or you're thinking about, what am I going to do about this thing tomorrow? Or how am I going to
it's like marrying the past and the future and forget and putting it all in the present. And
exactly.
None of it's real.
And none of it is actually happening. It's about thinking about, like, what am I going to do about this? Oh my God, I have this big thing coming up where like I have to get on a plane and I'm scared of planes, or I have to confront my family, or I have to see an act. Whatever it is. Yeah. And that's what anxiety is. It's about thinking about the past or the future. And instead, I would this is my biggest advice of the podcast, this is my wrap up, is to really fully live in the fucking present. And I would rather be living in a mediocre moment of like present than beating my fucking self up about something that happened in the past or something that is gonna happen.
Or might not happen.
Or might not happen, exactly. Like I'm already thinking about all this shitty shit, but like my advice is to truly stop fucking letting your mind take over and bring yourself back. Just fucking focus on the present. And I know it's super hard and easier said than done, but that's what's gonna get me through right now, and that's what's gonna get me through this next second and tomorrow and next week. And yeah. What's your tip?
Instead of a tip, I'm just gonna, for anyone who's like currently struggling with
Yeah.
stuff like that, it's more of a, I'm just gonna share my goal, I guess, maybe for this week.
Besides coming.
I mean, sure. Okay, my goal is to focus on more of like what I want and letting that be enough. Sort of easing up on the judgment and trying to mindfully keep myself out of situations where I feel like I'm being judged.
I like that.
Yeah. Just be kinder to yourself.
It is really hard to be nice to yourself, but at the end of the day, you're only with you for the rest of eternity. So why not try and make it as good as possible with whatever control you do have? I
You
don't know
said
why I started
it was such a nice thing that you were saying in such a scary way.
Yeah, that gave me a lot of anxiety. Guys, I know this got a little serious, but a lot of you asked for us to talk about this stuff. We could do a million more episodes about this.
Yeah.
Let us know what you would like to hear more about, because I do think the more we talk about it and the more open we are, even in stupid little fucking podcasts like this, the easier it's going to be for other people
I would
to
have
talk about
loved
it.
to hear this shit when I was like,
Yeah.
like 10 years ago. I would have
Yeah.
loved to hear it. So
Yeah, so we'll keep talking about it as long as you guys want us to, and even if you don't, we're still gonna fucking talk about it. Let's roll to our fake ad.
roll to our fake ad.
Tired of not being heard? Sick of regular commercials that only bring regular results? Well, look no further than Adult Shit, spelled with a 1, the podcast. Give us your sweet money and let us do your dirty work.
9 out of 10 of the past 2 fake ads we've done have tripled their sales goals for the year in just 2 weeks. Who can argue with real fake numbers like that? Adult Shit, so you don't have to.
So we've gotten so much fucking feedback about this podcast. We read every single message. If we don't respond, it's just because like our inboxes are flooded. But we have heard your guys'
be responding this week.
Yes, we've heard your messages. We've read your comments. We have read your Instagram messages, your tweets. We are so thankful. We just want to give a quick rundown, shout out of some of the people who have recently either tweeted about it, hashtagged us, commented, messaged us, just because we're so fucking thankful because it's Thanksgiving.
We're thankful for you guys. So here's the little list.
Ma underscore Kerchesne, A_M Quinn, Thugosaurus, Melka G, Megan Rose, Darian Tuffin, what does that say?
Totten.
Whatever. M. Jean May, My Sailor's Doll, Kiera Gagnon, Kelsey Foskin, T.F. Gill, Brittany Thompson, Selena Muskin.
Holly Naud.
What? That's a sound.
Molly Swint, Megan Grace Maria. Keep Up with Kizza. Tuba Piano.
That's a great name.
Marines 96, Ruby Ubi, and that's it.
Guys, we're so glad that you like this podcast, and I'm gonna say it every time, but if you haven't already, please go fucking rate this on iTunes and give us stars so that we can keep doing this and prove to our bosses that we deserve to have a set and some interns, because right now I'm the one running sound and camera and editing this.
And I'm setting up.
And hey, guess what? If we had help, we could probably do like 2 of these a week.
We probably could.
But for now, until we get enough rates on iTunes.
We need a lot more ratings.
Yeah, we do. And
But-
if nope, you go.
Let us know what you want to see. Let
And
us know
who
what
you
you want to
wanna
who
see.
you want to see or hear on this podcast. Message us. Let us know what you
Tweet
want to
at
hear
them,
about.
tag them in some twits.
Because we could talk about, baby, we could talk about anything.
You know,
so
you're gonna just get us for the next fucking few podcasts if you don't fucking reach out and tell us who you want to come on as a guest.
And then mainly, happy,
Thanks.
well,
No, not happy Thanksgiving.
have a happy day. I mean, it's not happy for everyone.
Look,
we have to say,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
do. It's not an easy time. There's no way to.
Thanksgiving is kind of not a good holiday.
Yeah, there's no way to like wrap up a mental health discussion like that. We could end on high notes and self-care tips, and sure, fucking we could do that. But at the end of the day,
I think we should do that.
Should we? Fuck. Look, I feel like this whole podcast has been little tidbits of advice and self-care situations.
And
But
hopefully examples of how you're not alone.
yeah, but that is the thing, right? If you're struggling, know that both of us have been to the pits of darkness and hell and are still struggling and will always struggle, but are still alive, and that's an anxiety burp. But that it does get better, and I swear to fucking God, I hate it when people tell me that, but it does get better.
It does get better. There is help out there. Nothing's perfect. Everything's in cycles. You'll feel bad again, but it's just
that's life.
You have the ability to have a community of people around you who care.
And if you have shitty people around you, stop fucking talking to them. If you have people that don't understand your mental illness or your disorder,
or just know where they fit in your life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not in your life.
Just know that you are not alone. You're not fucking crazy.
And you're worth it.
The thoughts you have are not.
You
are not insane. Everyone has had them, no matter what they are. Mm-hmm. And you're not broken. You're not fucked up. You're a whole person. Kate, I think you're just one of the best people I know, or else I wouldn't fucking do this podcast with you. I, as your friend, will try to be there for you as much as I can to an extent without projecting onto you. And I only hope that one day, or today, or even for a moment, you find peace and know how great you are, because you're the best. Now compliment me.
Love you.
We're hugging, if that's why the sound is
I'm just so glad we're friends. You're such a warm, wonderful person. I'm glad you're in my life.
And we didn't find each other until our late 20s.
Yeah.
So maybe you haven't found one of your peeps yet.
Maybe not, but there are peeps out there.
Yeah.
There are.
How do we end this again? Should let the intro music come in now. Oh wait, follow me at Kelsey Darrow on all the things. Follow Kate at Kate Peterman or KTP on Twitter. We'll see ya freaking next week.
I feel like we just lost some subscribers with that one.